a solution to the zombie
Say,
problem.
no one's around. You wouldn't raise a fuss if I, borrowed one of these fish, would you?
Borrow indeed. I'll sooner meet a cat wizard than see that merchant repaid.
Come now, I'll be good for it, I swear! Oh, my story's tired by now. I was happy enough, prosperous enough, before these lean times around Sicil began. Still, that doesn't waive a man's need to eat, you know. I never would have dreamt of resorting to petty theft during better times, but what choice have I got now? If it's steal or starve, I'll choose steal. So what do you think? Should I snag a fish?
Heavenly herring, delicious dogfish. Yours.
That merchant has to eat too, you know. Leave the fish alone.
Yes, you know what they say about giving a man a fish. This man should learn to stand on his own 2 feet.
I suppose you've got a point. Another day, another rumbling belly. Morals never fed a hungry man, you know.
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes. Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Don't scuttle away before you've tried some of the ocean's finest bounty. How many crab claws would you like? 3? 11? I listened in while you were talking to that would-be thief. Thank you for preserving my stock. It's no wonder you source hunters are known for setting a place straight.
Sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Any takers?
Oh, hello, love. Nice day for a little stroll around the market, isn't it?
Yours for a scrap of gold each.
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
What are ye staring at? Captain Jack's the name, though the title may be a little generous at the moment. My crew ran off. Those scallywags heard there be silver in the Lacula mines, and they abandoned ship like the lily-livered turkeys they are. Haven't seen them since the day we docked. Any takers? Come on, you chickens!
Not in the mood for cheese. Their excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Norman then.
Well, Mayor Cecil will be happy to see the likes of a source hunter. Welcome to the Town Hall of Sicil.
What? Oh, it's you! Come closer then. Closer, huh? My ears aren't what they used to be. Nor my eyes, for that matter. Yes, hello, Source Hunter. Our city welcomes you. My elf? What elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Sicil, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite eager to see Sicil through these difficult times. Yes, very difficult times indeed. What? Oh, you mean Sicil? Very difficult times indeed. As though the death of Jacon by source magic no less weren't enough. We're also facing all sorts of brutish intruders. The undead have overrun all but one northern trade route, while the orcs are making a habit of savaging our beaches. That's not to mention that at the top of this whole caboodle, there's rumors of some new religious sect or cult or some such sticking its tendrils into the innocent, seven-fearing folks of Sicil. And, while we're on the subject of troubles, I myself have a private matter I'd like to bring to your attention. It involves a magic relic I rather foolishly sought, a weapon called the Staff of Pergamon. Jake, murdered? Oh, yes. Yes, now I recall. Indeed, I could hardly believe it myself. The Council and I have certainly had our differences over the years, but old squabbles evaporate under such circumstances. Most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. In fact, the Legion have taken her into protective custody to keep her safe from the mob. As you can imagine, I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit suggestive. But I've never had cause to suspect her of violence. Still, one never knows for sure. An all-right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Sicil is to spend a night or two at the King Crab Inn with Mrs. Counselor. What? The undead? Yes, for the past 2 years those blasted skeletons have all but suffocated this city. With all but one trade route overrun, Sicil's once torrential commerce has slowed to a pathetic trickle. What of what now? Oh, you're speaking gibberish. Ah, you mean the Staff of Pergamon? Yes, yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons, and among the cargo was this very powerful, very rare staff. I managed to place the order through means somewhat, atypical to a government official. Cecil proved an old fool, though. For the merchant slated to deliver it to me has just informed me that the damn thing has gone missing. I fear it may have fallen into the wrong hands, and I wonder if you could retrieve it for me. His name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter, a merchant ship still docked at the Sicil harbor. You can talk to him if you think it'd help, but I'd quite like to avoid getting the Legion involved, if you don't mind. The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in the weapons of war. I know use of the material to be forbidden, but I was desperate to do something to aid the townsfolk against the undead. Well, I do believe that's something your parents ought to have discussed with you long ago, Source Hunter. But I suppose if you really don't know, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least explain the basics. Ah, you see, when a lady and a fellow find each other rather nice, well, rather more than nice, they occasionally, well, they... Oh, this is nonsense. I'm the mayor for the 7th sake. I can't be bothered to chat all day about the birds and the bees when Sicil's under siege by orcs, undead, and cultists. That depends. What kind of berries are you interested in, exactly? Ah, the library. Yes, yes, you must have a visit. It's the gem of Sicil. Would you like to have a look? I'll escort you upstairs myself. Marvelous! Follow me then. What? Oh, yes. This library is the jewel in Sicil's crown, the beacon of culture and learning in our fair city.
And the first edition, too. Most promising.
Brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Celeron will have to pay yet another fine.
My Victoria has every volume you could possibly imagine, and she's got every speck of information about this place packed into her brilliant brain. Yes, Victoria's come a long way from that little bundle of claws and teeth I adopted so long ago. Ah, it brings a tear to my eye just seeing her here among her beloved books. What? Oh, yes, yes. I'll be on my way back downstairs now. Please introduce yourself. I know Victoria will be happy to make your acquaintance.
The lesser key of Salamandras. What nonsense. The Encyclopedia Demonium. I know it by heart. Omnes autem mali demonis quam.
What is this? Who are you to interrupt my musings? By Naga the Protector, they have the manners of boors, these boatmen of Sicil.
Oh, but perhaps I spoke too soon. Perhaps I was mistaken. For you hardly resemble the local fisher folk, which, incidentally, is a compliment of copious dimensions indeed. No, a source hunter, that is what you are. Yes, a stalker of sorcery, a chaser of charms pernicious. In truth, I cannot go so far as to say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, for I take no pleasure in the company of man. But it may just be to our mutual advantage to join forces nonetheless. Why, simply because you hunt source, and I, Jehan, hunt demons. You are aware, of course, that quite often both of these pests frequent the same shadowy pools of infamy. Now, I hate what I hunt, but I respect its cunning. Should I not, I'd have been decimated body and soul long since. This is a sentiment I'm quite certain you must recognize. Let there be strength in cunning, yes, but also in numbers. The calculus of wizardry I offer you, the might of the magician's mastermind. On one condition, that on our joint travels we will never deal with demonic entities, no matter how tempting their propositions. Give me your word on this, and I'll weave you spells.
Rack. Mayhem. Who placed this book here? A volume of poetry among novels? Rack. Mayhem.
Very well. There will be no deals with demons.
Agreed. Nothing good ever came from bargaining with those devils anyway.
Most gratifying. I see you are firm of purpose and thereby ready to descend. Descend into the madness that is sorcery, into the depths where demons dance. Gladly shall I follow you into the abyss. Onward, blood and triumph await.
A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Celeron will have to pay yet another fine. see-through armor. Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom. Ständigen. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she? The knight
That doesn't belong to us, you know.
the blushing bottom. Ständigen. Esmeralda does have a propensity.
You're right, it doesn't. Sometimes I get a little overzealous while I'm on the job.
Volume 1, Volume 2.
Overzealous? No such thing when it comes to sniffing out sorcerers. I say we ought to be able to take and use whatever will make our job easier.
A source hunter! Oh, what a sight for sore Sicilian eyes! Me? I live alone here in town. Used to be that my younger brother Tom and I were practically joined at the hip, but that's all changed now. Oh, he's always been something of a rascal, calling his petty hooliganism adventuring and endlessly worrying my poor mind. Oh, but of course, I've always loved that scamp to bits. For my part, I encouraged him to join the Legion. Even got him sparring with Captain Aureus now and then. But then those blasted Fabulous Five came into town. In the night. That band of... oh, I don't even know what to call them. Well, they're his heroes, and I simply couldn't prevent him from going to see them. That one meeting was all it took for Tom to run off with them on some mission to God knows where. For all things naughty, hasn't she? Volume 1, Volume 2. In the name of Amun-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Geta Hal, be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine. I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The likeness isn't exactly striking, is it? When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Sicile toward the sea. The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amun-Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way. He raised me like I was his own, this kindest of souls, taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride. Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow so that others may enjoy them too.
Striking it rich!
The knight in see-through armor, Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom, Ständigen. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she? See-through armor, Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom, Ständigen. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she? Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom, Ständigen. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she? Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night. The knight in see-through armor, Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom, Sterntecken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she? Kajdanor. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Theleron will have to pay yet another fine. The knight in see-through armor, Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom, Sterntecken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she? Place this book here. A volume of poetry among novels? Rack! What mayhem! Kajdanor. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Theleron will have to pay yet another fine. Volume 1, Volume 2. But where has the third one gone? Sharp sword. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night. Kajdanor. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Theleron will have to pay yet another fine.
What? Oh, it's you! What news? My elf? What elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Sicil, and my dear girl, my darling adopted daughter, my pride and joy. I introduced her to my library when she was a girl. She quickly proved that the preconceptions we humans hold of orcs as savage beasts are patently false. If you're looking for something special, just ask. She knows every book by heart, Papa's smart little cookie. That depends. What kind of berries are you interested in exactly? Ah, the library. Yes, yes, you must have a visit. It's the gem of sight. Please yourself. Let me know if you change your mind. You won't regret it.
You're a source hunter, aren't you? They say you can talk to animals, but I, for one, won't be falling for such a tall tale.
Source hunter. A sight for sore eyes if ever there was one. I know you're probably knee-deep in that awful murder investigation, but truth be told, the Legion could use your help as well. We've been conducting a series of expeditions into undead territory, and I'm afraid I must admit they've met with very little success.
The beast speaks, so you've had the room behind the feral wall, have you? The cretin's question crossed her lips and aped an air of aptitude.
Hey, Cal, I think that was an insult.
Don't pay attention to the beast very much.
Lieutenant Selenia, at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second-in-command, but rest assured I am a lot more kindly inclined towards source hunters than he is. Now, I certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition and even rivalry between our orders, but I, for one, have no intention of looking a gift horse in the mouth. And that is exactly what your presence in Sicil is, source hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only heroes such as yourself can make a true difference in this troubled part of the world. Such is my honest conviction.
Soldiers were the most ferocious.
The undead. I pitied them at first. Many among them were once kind and innocent civilians of Sicil after all. No longer do I feel that way, though. Too many of my soldiers have fallen. The dead must be put down without mercy, if we can. The bravest among my men and women tell me they are weaker in the west and stronger in the east. So I suggest you head westward if you want to flex your muscles and test the waters before blindly diving to your death. Salutations, Source Hunter. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. If ever we want to be victorious in Sicil, we have to track down the root of the undead uprising. Under the Pact of Volunteers, 3 expeditions were launched to do just that, but so far, none of their participants have returned. 3 landmarks were chosen for further investigation: the lighthouse, the burial mounds, and the old church, places fraught with danger all. There's a lighthouse to the west, up on the bluffs, overlooking the sea. No man has gone there in a decade, and yet a light shines from its pinnacle every night. The locals say it's haunted, and half a dozen legionnaires have gone to find out whether or not those are mere tall tales. I fear for their safety. There are ancient burial grounds to be found north of the city. As good a place as any to start looking for necromancers, wouldn't you say? A local archaeologist offered to tag along with the men. Here's hoping his knowledge on the subject may prove to be of use to them. There's a church to the northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the source. The Sicilians razed it, and built a church for the 7 instead, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery. All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead rose, that is when they were first spotted. Hence the expedition.
The beast speaks? So you've half a brain behind that feral maul, have you?
So I did. The Pact of Volunteers. Many Legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why I personally sign their transfer orders the moment they make it back from a mission behind enemy lines. The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful, they just bought themselves a boat ride home.
Before she could do any real damage.
Any real damage? You're joking. I've been mauled and disfigured for life.
Come on with the dramatics. It's not as bad as all that.
The face, Furious. She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly will be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself. That was an insult.
Don't pay attention to the beast, Furious. You'll only encourage it.
Greetings! These stalls are for our Legion troops. Rivellon's finest work up mighty fine appetite, serving the 7.
Don't let that rooster escape! He's already on the menu for tonight!
Isn't it a chicken's destiny to be eaten? We should catch it and give it back to the cook.
Wait a minute! I don't want to see this poor chicken here slaughtered. I want him free! Free! Free!
All right, we'll do it your way.
Why did you let my chicken escape?
Rivellon's finest work up mighty fine appetite, serving the 7.
The face, Furious. She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
You let my chicken escape? Looks like it's your lucky day, Jack. Now to tell the troops they're getting nothing but the cornbread. You again? Come to throw my dinner to the wind again, have you? I'm Chef Maurice, the one and only culinary connoisseur capable to make a dish for an army with little more than a single chicken.
Well, Source Hunter, you come to the right place, you have. I got every style of equipment to fit you from head to foot, if it's a trade you're after.
Stores are for our Legion troops. Rivellon's finest work up my.
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any real damage.
Good luck out there, Hunter. Evil lurks beyond Cyseal's ramparts.
The face, Furious. She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly will be the last of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I just want you to try and screech, woman.
What have we here, then? A so-called source hunter, eh? Well, look, do what you must in Cyseal, but don't make waves and don't interfere with the Legion's affairs, you hear? I'm Captain Aureus, if you must know, leader of the Legion in Cyseal, by which I mean I have the enviable task of commanding a battalion of walking dead. For I fear it may well be but a matter of time before the undead undo all my soldiers and turn them into drivelling hordes of their own misshapen number. Gods above! Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar. Ridiculous! I told that wizard brat of an Ahu not to bother, but he just had to send for source hunters, didn't he? Bloody magicians. They see a pigeon poop and think sorcery's afoot. Nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop, understand? I am in command of this town, not Mayor Cecil, not Ahu, and definitely not some hotshot source hunter. So investigate Jake's death if you feel so inclined, but report back to me the moment you discover something out of the ordinary. The scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission to enter. Now off with you! Esmeralda is Jake's wife. Well, widow. Everyone in town, down to the crabs on the beach, is convinced she killed him. Now, the girl has the reputation of being a flirt. There is that. But that doesn't suffice as evidence, wouldn't you say? Or do source hunters rely on hearsay alone, perhaps? That certainly would explain some of the cock-ups you lot have made in the past. What? You're going to stand there and claim with a straight face your order never wrongly tortured and executed anyone? Hardly. But I won't stand for such nonsense. If you bring evidence before me, I'll evaluate it with perfect objectivity. The Legion relies on reason, see? Not idle superstition. If you must. Bravo! Figured that one out, did you? I haven't been stuck here for 2 years because we're being besieged by fluffy kittens, you know. Those brain-feasting freaks out there keep on coming. And it takes all the sword arms and all of Ahu's half-baked contraptions to keep them at bay. Keeping them at bay, that is all we do. Were that I could break their backs once and for all. How am I enjoying it? Are you spoiling for a fight, Hunter? Are you? Cyseal stinks of fish, reeks of orcs, and on a good day the wind disperses the stench of decomposing corpses. I can't remember the last time I had a proper piece of steak, and by now I retch at the mere sight of sardines. So in conclusion, I am not enjoying Cyseal. We are the pride of Rivellon, to be found and to be seen everywhere. We don't hide in the dark and lurk in corners like some I could mention. No, we protect the civilized from the barbaric, and we do so impeccably. I'd say they are looking for weak spots in our defenses. They can't make an attack over land for fear of Ahu's magical machines, so they're trying their luck by sea. They won't succeed, though. Not against the Legion. Yes, and he also spends most of his time in the guise of a cat, licking God's knows which body parts. Sects, sorcerers. He'll be seeing flying carpets next.
can I help you, my friend? But certainly. What would you like to know? Oh, I am but a wizard, a guardian of man and beast, and indeed I am both. My body, like any other, is bound to temporal decay, but my spirit is a speck of light that shone forth from the eternal sun that is the cosmic soul. My task upon this earth is to protect the heart of nature, the very antithesis of which is the intrigue spun by demons and directors of the dead. Hence, you see, my one desire is to witness a world in which every mother looks around her and purrs with calm contentment, for she knows that her chicks or children, her cubs or calves, will grow up without knowing the meaning of menace, the enfeeblement of fear. To my great regret, none of them purr as yet. Oh, but that's not a trick. It's a blessing. Or does it surprise you that I enjoy taking a feat? Such magic is a gift, Hunter. To tread upon the realm of instinct, to be out in the night, to stalk on silent paws and hunt with only the moon as your witness. You couldn't possibly imagine the thrill. But of course it's handy to speak in more than meows. And I couldn't brew potions or make machines, and what might those be? Those who are raising the dead dwell among us. The enemy is wily. They know...
Come on, dramatics is not good at all.
The face, Furious. She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers of the most.
Sorry, sir.
Ugly will be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
Sorry,
In that
sir.
case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try and screech, woman. The beast speaks, so you have to read behind the barrel. We'll all have to threatens
Sorry,
questions
sir.
crossed her lips and aped an evil attitude.
Hey, I think that was an insult.
Don't pay attention to the beast, Furious. You'll only encourage it.
Those boats that embarrass a bridge troll get to shining.
You don't think it's infected,
Sorry,
do you?
sir.
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any real damage.
Any real damage? Are you joking? I've been mauled. I'll be disfigured for life.
Cruel fortune.
Thank the seven, we've secured the perimeter.
Move along.
Legion's greetings. I have been informed about your heroics on the beach. Were that I had been there to partake in the battle. But my duties lie here, sworn as I am to protect Lady Esmeralda from the rabble that would enforce summary justice on her, even though she is, until proven guilty, wholly innocent. I am Septimus, seventh son in a household of 9, legionnaires all. Me and 2 brothers of mine were assigned to Sicile from day one. Alas, both of them have long since fallen in battle against the dead. But never shall I lose heart. Long as a single legionnaire stands, all of us remain undefeated in the eyes of the gods. So fair a lady I have seldom seen in all of Rivellon, my friend. And I have traveled more extensively than migratory birds do. She stands accused of murder, but in my mind, her presumed guilt is a fallacy, and indeed a fabrication. Steadfast will I guard her. Never will I waver unless absolute proof of her culpability should be brought before me. And I hold no such proof exists. Jake's murder is, in a word, a tragedy. He was well loved in all of Sicile. The Council of 7 couldn't have wished for a better ambassador. That he of all people should have braved the undead siege for so long, only to be felled by foul sorcery, is heartrending. And what questions are those? We've been stationed here the better part of 2 years now, alternating between twiddling our thumbs and springing into panicked battle against the orcs. Hard to admit, but without Ahu, we'd have lost this city a long time ago. You ask me, the council would do well to evacuate the rest of the people here and give up the city for lost. I've fought orcs crazed with blood liquor, withstood assaults by ogres wielding clubs made of human bones and teeth. Aye, I've braved the poisonous spear tips of goblins aplenty. But never did I know fear until I faced the undead. Not a pleasant thing for a legionnaire to feel fear, but there you have it nonetheless.
Lords above, grant me patience. You're a source hunter, aren't you? Here because you think I killed my husband. How many times do I need to state and restate my complete innocence in the matter? I am Esmeralda, wife of Jake, and now, alas, his widow. Poor man. We were both so young when we married. He so rich and I so poor, but his one and only princess just the same. Like I told just about every legionnaire in town, I don't know anything about poor Jake's murder. I want his killer found and tried, but everyone suspects me of this evil deed. And you're no different, are you? So what happened? Some of them tittle-tattling crab chasers down the pub call me a murderous gold digger and you believe them? These insinuations truly go beyond the pale. Oh, I think I'm getting one of my headaches.
Well, what do you want to know?
We're surrounded. Undead haunting every exit. Orcs gnashing at every entrance. We're sealed in like mummies, you know. I'm telling you, a necromancer must have been at work in Sicile. Perhaps still is. How else do you explain risen dead sprouting like mushrooms in a single night? And that's not even the worst of it. No, the worst is they keep coming back. An endless legion of the dead that even the legion of the living cannot subdue.
She seems to be quite adamant about her innocence.
Would your
We'll need to look
wife
for
or
evidence
sweetheart
to
be
prove she
compensated
actually
by the
did the
Legion
evil deed?
should tragedy befall you on the battlefield?
I suppose so, milady. But seeing that I'm neither married, engaged, or attached in any way, I've never bothered to inquire.
Polite, handsome, and single. Don't go anywhere tonight, Legionnaire. I'd be afraid alone in the dark.
Sweet relief.
Bless
Yes, the 7! I am restored!
More holes than a slice of this pie.
Let us see if you can choose the finest greens.
You there! A moment of your indulgence, if you please. You are the source hunter, are you not? The hero the whole of Sicil is abuzz about. The talk of the town. The juiciest grape on the grapevine. Such a pleasure to meet you. A delight. No, scratch that. It is so much more than a delight. It is an intervention of fate. Yes, that's it. Fate has put me on this very spot so I may tell you all about a most intriguing opportunity indeed. Mendius, at your service. What is my profession? Well, I'll tell you what it used to be, and that is a man of medicine. But what does a man of medicine do but mend what has first been broken? I saved lives, to be sure, but today I change them. Oh, it's not merely an opportunity. It is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to become better. To become the full extent of the promise that is locked inside of each and every one of us. So first of all, let me ask you this question. Do you like adventure?
Heavenly herring, delicious dogfish, yours for a scrap of gold.
Of course I do. How could someone in my profession not?
Quite right. Adventure is what we live for.
See here, you and I share the same passion. I never doubted it for a moment. The thrill of walking the unbeaten path, the rush of finding yourself in a goblin ambush, knowing you'll prevail nonetheless. Too bad your line of work comes with such measly recompense. Am I right? The wage of a mere soldier. Now, between you and me, tell me truthfully, don't you sometimes wish you could earn more?
Well, I can't say that I haven't.
Yes, some extra gold is always welcome.
Indeed. Indeed, gold is always welcome. And among the fabulous 5, gold flows as freely as water does to the sea. Even so, my friend, matters of a pecuniary nature aside, what is life without variety, without spice? To be a source hunter must get frightfully dreary sometimes. Am I right? All those orders. Investigate this, retrieve that, and at the end of the day, what do you have to show for it? Wouldn't you prefer to call your own shots? Be your own boss?
Oh, thank you for giving me tea, you old fat. Oh, you think you can speak that way to her? Well, in fact, to say it, I've got my eye on you there.
There's no shame in following directives if your masters are worthy of your trust.
Pay the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
True enough. We serve a just cause, so why wouldn't we follow our orders?
Come now. I refuse to believe such a uniquely skilled individual would settle for a puppet's role. Life's too short to spend it doing someone else's bidding. Am I right? Of course I am. And I could help you attain the dream. Enact the change you deserve. And that is exactly why I am here. Why fate has put me right by the door to the King Crab, so that I could meet you and tell you about the marvel that is the Fabulous Five. The invitation to join is yours. Grab it. Ah, the Fabulous Five. How I enjoy simply saying the words that describe the most illustrious and celebrated adventurers' guild in Rivellon. Our mission, to better the world. Our mantra, to better ourselves as we do so. To realize our dreams and cleanse our souls. You'd like nothing more than to enlist, wouldn't you? Of course you would. And you can. Of course, if you still have questions, I shall answer them to the best of my abilities. But if not, how about we get started? What a gem of a question. Straight as an arrow, sharp as a switchblade. Most meritorious of you. Now then, to join the Fabulous Five is to join a fellowship. To join a fraternity, a sorority, a community. The title of Knight is bestowed upon you the moment you sign our waiver, and so it all begins. I shall be the one to give you your first contracts, and once the job is done, I shall see to it you get your fair share of the reward. Of course, should you spread the word, should you propagate the gospel of the Fabulous Five and thereby draw new knights into our fellowship, you will get a share of the reward from their contracts too. Isn't that wonderful? By now, the genial glow of the fellowship must have warmed your heart. It has, hasn't it? But did I say fellowship? I mean family. For like a family, we support one another, cheer one another, see each other through thick and thin, partake in glory and defeat. Work hard, fulfill contracts, enlist new knights, and swiftly shall you rise through the ranks. You will better yourself. You will better Rivellon. You will make the stars shine all the brighter. And you'll get fabulously wealthy in the process. What's not to like? Of course, of course, of course! All you need to do is sign this waiver, and just like that, snap! You're part of the family. All I need is your lovely little autograph. What do you say?
Join a guild, better the world, earn a lot of gold. Yes, count me in.
And me. May all the riches in the world be ours.
Marvelous! Magnificent! Oh, but what am I saying? Fabulous is the word. You may not realize it yet, but your fortunes, your very life is about to change for the better. So let us not dilly-dally. To business. Your first assignment is ready and waiting if you're ready and willing. Oh, it's a pretty straightforward task, this one. Now, in this town dwells a wizard. Ahu is his name, and he's a frightful eccentric. Scientific type, you know the kind. Favors reason over faith and all that. Not Fabulous Five material, him. His experimental weapons may keep a couple of skeletons away from the city, but many of his other researches failed, malfunctioned with tragic consequences. One of them was a big lumbering apparatus, a frightful automaton shaped like a giant made of steel. It was supposed to crush the undead by the dozens, piloted as it was by a trained legionnaire. But you can guess what happened. Did it become sentient? Was it cursed? Whatever the cause, the thing relieved itself of its pilot and headed north towards a network of caves. Now ask yourself, what if it comes back? It could smash the city walls and claim 100 lives before being subdued. Luckily, there are those in this world who belong to the Fabulous Five. The braves who eat such monstrosities for breakfast. Go, my friend. Find this wizard's abomination and claim your just reward from Mayor Cecil in the name of our hallowed guild. Easy money. Who? Tom? Doesn't ring a bell. Oh, hold on. Yes, of course, Tom. One of our most recent additions to the Fellowship. Brave kid, smart as a tack. He'll prove to be a wonderful addition to the family yet. They call the undead a problem, my friend, but those who know the ways of the Fabulous Five see no problems. They see opportunities. An enterprising spirit can wrench riches from cold dead rocks, or from cold dead full stop.
I am a duke.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies Sidefields ever seen.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.